Now, we've heard Premier after Premier slam New South Wales for its outbreak, saying it was simply a case of not locking down early or hard enough.
We very unfortunately need only to look at New South Wales. Level 4 restrictions are there to protect everyone and to make this lockdown as short as possible.
Sydney is on fire with this virus.
Obviously, the New South Wales government has made some terrible mistakes, but we just want them to put in place measures that work. They've got to actually take it more seriously.
All these leaders who slammed Gladys Berejiklian will now have to eat their own words. Melbourne is not getting back to zero, today recording 183 new cases of COVID. Only this week, Daniel Andrews finally admitted COVID zero was no longer his target.
The Chief Health Officer and the government will today and throughout this evening finalise a detailed plan that will include thresholds. If we can't achieve zero despite our best efforts, how many cases can we tolerate?
Over in New Zealand, where Jacinda Ardern went into a hard lockdown with just one case, there were 20 new cases today. And even Queensland has recorded a new case, the mother of a 4-year-old who tested positive yesterday. With Australia's 2 biggest states now admitting COVID zero life is over, there's now talk about opening up our borders for Christmas. The Sunday Telegraph reports today that double-vaxxed fans will be back watching the Socceroos. The races will have crowds. Pubs and clubs will open their doors. It's described as a partial return to normal life in October, when vaccination rates hit the 70% mark. And Scott Morrison says we can look forward to Christmas with our families and even a summer holiday.
When we get to phases B and C, people can travel again, they can move around the country, Australia can be connected again and connected with the world, people can attend weddings, people can go and have household gatherings and birthday parties, and sadly they'll have funerals, but people will be able to attend them. Worshippers can go back to church, picnics can take place at bigger numbers. All of this can happen again if we keep doing all those things.
Qantas is planning to resume international flights to the UK from mid-December. Also routes to Fiji, Singapore, the US, Canada and Japan. And the great news is that vaccination rates are rising and fast. In New South Wales, 73% of people have had a single dose of vaccine, indicating they're likely to get a second dose. Victoria, it's just over 60%, and Queensland lags behind, with 53% having had their first dose. It's great that our leaders are finally giving the population, particularly when there is such a crippling mental health issue, something to look forward to. These lockdowns have gone on long enough. But we also have to be realistic, and it is still going to be really tough. There are currently 1,030 people in hospital in New South Wales, and 2/3 of the cases in New South Wales are people under the age of 40. News.com.au has also reported this weekend that 3 children are in intensive care, including on a ventilator, one of them an infant, a baby. It is important to note, though, that all 3 of those children have underlying health conditions.